Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. It is early. The sun's not even up yet, and I'm having my coffee. It's October, and this time of year I always reminisce about hunting and the hunts I've had in the past. Now, I've been fortunate. I've had an opportunity to hunt almost everything that Michigan has to offer except wolf and elk. Wolf, they had a short season just once, I guess, to try it out. And elk is more or less by lottery. You apply every year. But pretty much everything else I've hunted, from the small game that I hunted when I was a young lad. Started with squirrels and rabbits and then worked up to ducks and pheasants and geese, and then finally deer, bear, turkey, and stuff. And got a lot of the mementos of that here. I'm going to show you some of them. They used to give you patches for hunting. If you'd brought your deer in, the biologist would check it and they give you one of these patches. This happens to be probably my favorite, but they go back quite a ways. I've got just a stack of them. Turkey, I got turkey ones too. The turkey ones you had to buy, but the deer, got lots of them. Another turkey one, deer. This one here I always thought was cool because it's got the old plaid on it. All the old deer hunters would always wear that plaid, which was, deer are colorblind, so that was that old school plaid. That's actually a form of camouflage, believe it or not. And another one that I particularly like. There's a bear. Another turkey. But anyway, I got a whole box full of these patches. They probably represent maybe half of the animals that I took over the years, because I didn't take everything in to have the biologist check, but I tried to help them out there for a while, as long as they still did it. They don't do it anymore. But that gets back to hunting and to preparedness. What we call hunting today isn't what human beings did for thousands of years. Now hunting has become this technological monster. Every year they come up with more and more technology to help you slay an animal that people have been killing for literally thousands of years. And that's one thing that would go away if SHTF happened. I mean, I like bow hunting. I've enjoyed bow hunting my entire life, and bow hunting is one of those things that is extremely technological anymore. It's not a stick and a string like it used to be. It requires a modern support network, for your arrows, your heads, keeping those, because modern compound bows are highly engineered pieces of equipment. And those aren't going to have the support after SHTF, so it's going to go back to a more subsistence form of hunting. And then it gets into the regulations of hunting. What people did for subsistence hunting nowadays would be considered either poaching or unethical hunting practices. But those were the techniques that people used to put meat on the table. And they've curtailed all those techniques over the years because of conservation. And getting a little bit into the history of it, conservation, part of the reason, they use conservation has brought back the game animals that were all hunted toward extinction. Well, why were those animals hunted to extinction? You would think that it was just hungry people combing the woods for food, but that's not what caused the near extinction of a lot of those animals. It was market hunting. And market hunting is something that you don't hear in any prepping channel when people talk about that the animals were all hunted to extinction. Market hunting was hunting, like I'll use waterfowl as an example. Waterfowl was hunted near extinction for market hunters. It wasn't local people shooting ducks and geese to put meat on the table. It was market hunters that killed everything they could possibly kill to put ducks and geese and waterfowl on the tables of rich people in Chicago, Milwaukee, New York. That's what hunted the animals to extinction. It wasn't hungry people in bad times. So, and that's what brought about the whole modern conservation movement. And I think that that's lost in translation when people talk about hunting and fishing and that kind of stuff. It's always those people that were trying to make a buck off the resources that drove stuff to near extinction, not just people in the Midwest or down south that were just hunting to put food on the table. Those weren't the bad guys there. Anyway, that's in the past. That's the way it is. But hunting and fishing is a skill. I think everybody needs to know those things. And the most important part of that, I think, is being able to, break down an animal and process that for food and preservation and use that. There's always going to be some animals somewhere around that people can harvest. And there's another story that I want to tell you. I read this account of the Civil War in the Balkans during the 90s. There were always a few pigeons around, even in a war zone, for people to harvest. So it pays to know how to break those animals down for human consumption. And pretty much all four-legged animals pretty much come apart the same. You have the meat along the spine and the ribs in the back, which is your better cuts of meat. You have your front shoulders and your neck, which are better for roast. You have your hindquarters that are better for steaks. And then pretty much everything else that's left can be ground up and used as ground meat. And birds, pretty much the same way. Birds, you lay them on their back and you can take the breast out. We actually did a video on taking the breast out of a wild turkey, but YouTube put the hammer down on that video, so I can't really show you the stuff that I'd like to show you on how to breaking that stuff down. But it's simple enough to do, and if you know how to dress a four-legged animal and you know how to dress a bird, they're pretty much universal. So it doesn't matter whether it's a rabbit or a deer or a bear. They're going to come apart pretty much the same. The same thing, whether it's a pigeon, it's a quail, it's a turkey, it's a goose. They're all going to pretty much come apart the same. And a lot of the ways that the old timers, if they want to utilize more of that animal, is they would cook it whole. So if you got like a rabbit or a squirrel or something, they would cook that whole. And my personal opinion is squirrel in particular is kind of a pain to clean, and it's a really pain to skin. There's different techniques that people use. I've tried to learn some of those techniques. I'm not very good at it, but squirrel, in my opinion, is one of the hardest animals to field dress, and that's because of the skin. But once you got the squirrel skinned, I always thought it tasted the best if you basically stuffed it just like a turkey. Take some stuffing, take some cooked sausage, pack that inside in the squirrel, and then cook it whole, braise it until the meat falls off the bone. And it was the same thing with fish. Filleting fish, pretty much everybody fillets fish now, but when I was a kid growing up, mom and dad, they never filleted a fish. They, took the insides out, they scaled it, and they took the head off of it. And because it was usually perch, or perch was the big one. Sometimes other game fish, but perch was the big one that they would do this with, and they would just, dust it and cook it whole. And you just pick the bones out. And that way you got more meat to eat. It took longer to eat it, of course, and it wasn't so convenient like it is today, but they cook the animals whole. And a lot of that stuff, I've seen that with venison too, where hind legs were literally, sections were just cut out of the hind legs, the bone was left in it, so you had kind of a roast with the round bone in the center, and it was cooked like that. And that was just to basically save meat, so there was no scrap when you went to eat that. You didn't debone everything and then you had a little bit of meat still left on the bones or anything. That took care of that. So, being able to break down an animal, I think, is a very important skill. Just like being able to start a fire or tell your directions or know how to pack a pack, those skills sort of transcend time, and those are things that human beings, I think, just need to know to help them survive, no matter whether it's in this modern era that we have here or if it's in, in the future when something bad happens. Those are just universal skills that I think people need to know. So I wanted to just take a few minutes here this morning and discuss this stuff with you guys and kind of give you my opinion on hunting as far as tradition, but then also some of the history and how that sort of works its way into modern preparedness. But anyways, Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video as always. Hope you enjoyed this discussion. Anyway, you guys have a good one.